What's up friends, and welcome back to TV Box Top, the channel for the best reviews in Android boxes and accessories. For today's review, we are dealing with high-end hardware that delivers power, expandable storage, live TV and video on-demand streaming. This is the BuzzTV Powerstation 6 high-performance gaming Android 13 TV box. It's got 16GB of DDR4 RAM, 128GB of internal storage, a Rockchip Octa-Core CPU, 64-bit architecture, and a new surprise expandable storage compartment, first of its kind in the industry. So this latest model is a beast of a TV box, and to find out all there is to know about it, watch this video to the very end. So stay tuned, that's up next. So I'm back, and thanks for keeping it locked during that quick unboxing. Package contents include the Powerstation 6 model itself, one Bluetooth BT500 remote, a pair of AA batteries, one HDMI cable, a 12V 3A DC power adapter, one AC power cable for the power adapter, one rubber grommet for the expandable storage compartment, a pack containing dust covers for all its I/O ports, and a support card with QR codes to its user manual and a separate manual for the Bluetooth remote. Let's take a look at its design. Its outer shell is made of plastic, and at the top you have the signature BuzzTV honeycomb pattern, and embedded in one of the patterns is your LED power light. For I/O, it comes with one HDMI 2.1 port, one Gigabit Ethernet LAN port, one optical audio, one micro SD card reader, and its 12V DC power input socket. For connecting external storage, it comes with one USB Type-C port, one USB 3.0, one USB 2.0, and you also have its power button on the side here. To its base you have 4 rubber feet, and its expandable storage compartment. I was expecting this to be a SATA port, but to my surprise, it's an M.2 SSD port, and it can accommodate all sizes of M.2 SSDs. So its first startup includes a simple BuzzTV animation, followed by the pairing of the BT500 Bluetooth remote. Then you have a first startup wizard connecting you to your home Wi-Fi network and logging in to your Google account. Upon connecting to the internet, you'll be presented with your first BuzzTV firmware update. Then you're taken to the BuzzTV launcher. So this is BuzzTV's new BuzzTV 6 launcher. It has all BuzzTV's premium features, and this one has tutorial videos below. If you don't like this launcher, they included all their previous launchers such as the BuzzTV Classic launcher, the BuzzTV Media Player launcher, the Media Player 2 launcher, and the BuzzTV Modern launcher. This is the default launcher used in the previous X5 Supersport model. For firmware features, its basic system information shows that it's running on Android 13 tvOS, and this is the updated firmware build information with access to developer options. You get 4K display up to 2160p at 60Hz. You have HDR display with auto HDR feature and the ability to adjust the HDR brightness. You get HDMI CEC options, zoom and color display settings, surround sound audio options, Google Assistant. And under BuzzTV utility settings, you can change the launcher, set your weather widget settings, Customize and map buttons on the remote control. Force max volume. Enable network file sharing. And you can switch the power LED on the box on or off. So at this point, I was prompted again with a second firmware update. So I will complete this update and continue. So the update completed successfully with app updates and bug fixes. Now for its system and hardware information. So BuzzTV went with the Rockchip chipset in this model, and it's the RK30 board. It comes with a massive 16GB of DDR4 RAM and 128GB of internal storage with Bluetooth 5.2. Its CPU is the Rockchip Octa-Core RK3588 processor comprising of a quad-core Cortex A55 clocked at 1.8 GHz and a quad-core Cortex A76 clocked at 2.256 GHz for a total of 2.3 GHz configured in 64-bit mode. So this means this box can run both 32 and 64-bit apps and games. Its GPU is the Mali G610 quad-core graphics processor with OpenGLES version 3.2 support. Its network adapter provides Wi-Fi 6AX connectivity with 2.4 GHz plus 5 GHz Wi-Fi. Its Android version is Android 13 and the firmware is not rooted. Under devices shows that its GPU has Vulkan support and is a higher version, API version 1.3. Under temperature, it idles around 47 degrees Celsius. And for decoders, it comes with 4K HDR video decoders such as HEVC and VP9 decoding. However, I don't see any AV1 or surround sound audio decoders. This does not mean there isn't any. I will test these in just a moment. So that's its system and hardware information. For digital rights management, it comes fully protected with Google Widevine Level 1 with HDCP 2.3 protection. And for root access, the Root Checker app also shows that its firmware is not rooted. This is great news. However, it does not come with an official Netflix ESN license. So with the exception of Netflix, other subscription movie services such as Disney+, Prime Video and Max are supposed to play movies in HD and 4K. I can't confirm because I don't have subscriptions with all these services. But as for Netflix, you will be limited to basic 480p resolution due to it not having an official Netflix ESN license.
Emily.
Moving on to its entertainment features, and I'll start with YouTube. The Android TV version of YouTube does not play 4K videos with the HDR, and you cannot uninstall it. So I installed the Smart YouTube TV version instead, and it plays videos with HDR. In testing its Google Assistant feature, I discovered that you need to press the microphone button on the remote twice before you give your command. Open the Google Play Store.
Okay.
For mobile screen mirroring, it does not come with any official Miracast or AirPlay app. You can, however, use the AirScreen app instead. You can mirror your mobile phone using a Miracast app or Google Home app. In this demonstration, I'm testing its 4K HDR video playback capabilities. Here I have it connected to a 4K 60Hz TV with HDR10, HLG, and Dolby Vision features. Let's now watch closely at the screen's top left and right corners to see which features get triggered. So this is HDR10, and it triggers the HDR10 feature. This video has AV1 decoding. Now the box does not have the AV1 decoder, so it does not trigger the HDR10 feature. In this video, the box does not support Dolby Vision, so it triggers the HLG feature. This is another Dolby Vision video that has Dolby Atmos, and it triggers HDR10 and Dolby Atmos. This is an HDR10 Plus video. My TV does not support HDR10 Plus, so I can't confirm if the box supports that feature. And this is an official HLG video, and it triggers the HLG feature. For surround sound audio, I have some special instructions. Firstly, under Device Preferences, open Decode and Bitstream. Then, under Audio, make sure that the HDMI pass-through is selected. Then open Select Formats and select the second option that allows you to manually enable surround sound features. Then go back to Format Selection and enable all the features. Then, under Display and Sound, scroll down to Advanced Sound Settings, and under Supported Formats, enable BuzzTV Expanded Audio Beta and BuzzTV Expanded Audio Diversity. So here I have it connected to my 7.1 AV receiver in HDMI pass-through configuration, and using my list of surround sound videos, the box produces Dolby Atmos,
This is Dolby Atmos, the world's first object-based cinematic audio. With powerful moving audio that...
Dolby Digital Plus,
Come on, you guys, let's go!
What captures the full extent.
Do you want to know my secret?
When I attempt to play a DTS HD master audio video, I get no formats, only PCM. You get Dolby Surround from Dolby Vision videos, if you attempt to play a Dolby True HD video, you also get no audio. And when I attempted to play a DTS-X video, I also got no audio. Installing an M.2 SSD into the expandable storage compartment is simple. Just insert the SSD into the slot and lift the rubber grommet to secure it in place. If you have a smaller size SSD, you can use the additional grommet in the available slots. So under Storage Settings, under Device Preferences, here I installed a 512GB M.2 SSD, but you can install any size in excess of 2 TB and the box will read it. So I will convert this 512GB into shared internal storage. So with the ability to expand your external storage in excess of 2 TB, you can now install very large Android apps and games. And with its quad-core G610 GPU, it makes it a very powerful Android gaming box. The only challenge is the Android TV Play Store, which is limited in its selection of games. However, the firmware allows side loading of your favorite apps and games found on the mobile version using alternative app stores such as APK Pure and Aptoid. For those who are into advanced Android gaming with key mapping, without root access, your favorite Panda key mapping apps do not work. So I paired my gamepad via Bluetooth and ran some 64-bit Android games on the highest settings at 60 Hz. This is Shadowgun Legends, and at the highest ultra graphic settings, the box plays it with ease.
Who's next?
This is a 64-bit racing game called Ace Racer, and at the highest graphic settings at 60 FPS, it's not a problem for this box, absolutely no throttling. And for a real heavyweight Android game, this is Genshin Impact, and at the highest ultra settings at 60 FPS, the graphics run flawlessly.
Cool it! Traveler, unless I'm mistaken.
I have two tips for Android gamers. If you install an M.2 SSD into the expandable storage compartment, I advise installing a heatsink or cooling fan, as the compartment has the space for it. Also, even though it's the ultimate gamer, use a cooling fan pad below the box. It will ensure its longevity, as temperatures can rise into the 80s with an M.2 SSD heating just below the chipset. This would also be a great opportunity for BuzzTV to install a mini cooling fan in this chipset in future models. So with such high performance, let's look at its benchmarks and where it ranks on my TV box rankings chart. First, the results from its RAM transfer speed, its internal storage read and write speeds, its USB Type-C port, and its M.2 SSD port read and write speeds. It has a RAM copy speed of 26,511 megabytes per second. Its internal storage has a read speed of 200 megabytes per second and a write speed of 229 megabytes per second. Its USB Type-C port has an average read speed of 192 megabytes per second and a write speed of 212 megabytes per second. And its M.2 SSD port has an average read speed of 178 megabytes per second and a write speed of 181 megabytes per second. These can vary depending on what type and quality of M.2 SSDs you install. Quite notable is the extremely high RAM copy speed of 26,511. Next, I have the results from the speed test performed on its dual-band Wi-Fi 6 adapter and its Gigabit Ethernet LAN port. So I received a new Wi-Fi 6 router from my internet service provider, and my internet speed is now at 300 megabits per second. In previous videos, you would have seen my speed at 315 is now at 300. The results show that on the 5 GHz band and the LAN port, it achieved the maximum speed of my network. Its 2.4 GHz band also performed pretty well, averaging around 162 megabits per second. In benchmarking its Rockchip Octa-Core CPU, I decided to stick with the Geekbench 5 version and not switch to the recommended Geekbench 6, as most of the boxes on my chart were benchmarked using Geekbench 5. So for single core and multi-core performance, Geekbench 5 produced a score of 529 single core and 2068 multi-core. In benchmarking its GPU, the results got even better. In the 3D Mark Gamers benchmark, it qualified for the Wildlife test as well as the Steel Nomad Light test. In the Wilder Live test, it generated a score of 4,578 with an average FPS of 27.41. This is almost 30 times higher than your standard quad-core Android TV box. In the Steel Nomad test, it scored 476 with an average FPS of 3.53. And in the Antutu benchmark version 10.4.9, it produced a score of 663,249. So with these really high benchmarks, let's now see where it ranks on my chart. So I've updated the scores on my TV box rankings chart, and BuzzTV's Powerstation 6 model rocketed to position number 1 based on its Antutu benchmark score, beating every box in this list. This is a great achievement for BuzzTV, and this is not even their top performing model. There is one more Powerstation 6 model with 32GB of RAM and 256GB of internal storage. If you would like to view its benchmarks in comparison to other boxes in this list, use the link provided in the description below. I also placed the easy access purchase links right here, so see the link in the description. In summary, the Powerstation 6 tops my rankings chart for hardware performance, but when it comes to firmware features, it's still a work in progress. The good news is, during this review, I completed 2 firmware updates. My recommendations for BuzzTV is to include Dolby True HD and Dolby Vision decoders for the playback of self-hosted videos, as well as additional surround sound decoders for DTS audio. Apply forced landscape mode for all apps. This can be annoying when certain apps don't fill your screen and remain in portrait mode. And finally, YouTube needs to play videos in HDR and include official Miracast and AirPlay software for screen mirroring in HD. So that brings to an end my review. If you are interested in purchasing this model, you can get 10% off the original price using my special coupon, which I placed in the description below this video. I would like to thank the team over at BuzzTV for producing this model and for sending a sample for review. If they continue along this path, big names such as Yugos, Nvidia, and even Amazon Fire TV will have to play catch up. So thanks for watching. Give this video the thumbs up if you enjoyed the content. To keep updated on what's happening on this channel, you simply click the subscribe button and ring the notifications bell to receive notifications each time I release a new video, offer an open box deal at second-hand prices, or decide to do a giveaway. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video, stay connected, and see you in the next one.